Let's see what we got on the schedule for the day. Alright. I think we got a 03 Hayabusa. We already got the bike in the bay. Today what we're going to do, we're going to do some Halo Angel Eyes. Well, the Halo rings, which sometimes people get confused as the Angel Eyes or the Ccf Halos. We're going to do the Ccf Halos today, okay? They're a little bit brighter than your Angel Eyes. Plus, when you run your headlights, you can still see the Halo Eyes versus the Angel Eyes. You know, once you cut your headlights on, the brightness of your headlights, it floods out your Angel Eyes. So make sure when you're making your order, you know exactly what you're purchasing. Now, if you want to stunt in front and be in the parking lot amongst your friends, and the bike is off, your headlights is off, the Angel Eyes look great, but as soon as you cut your bike on, you can't see them, okay? So we're waiting for the boys in brown to get here. They should be here any minute. We're going to show you a step-by-step process. We already got the headlight off the bike. Next thing we got to do, we got to use a heat gun, crack the headlight open. We're going to show you how to epoxy your rings in. Make sure you do a good job because you don't want to go in that headlight twice. All right, so let's get out there in the bay. We're going to make some things happen. Do it yourself or bring it to me. My name is Rashid, down here in Raw Gadgets, Waldorf, Maryland, in the town road. We're doing some big things in 08. We're going to be on the map this year, okay? So keep your eyes out for us. You ain't writing no note.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was.
What's going on?
None. Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday for you.
Oh, you gotta work tomorrow?
Work every day.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, we'll be out here too.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you, baby.
All right.
Okay, now we got everything laid out on the table. We're ready to go ahead and get started. Like I said earlier, we already have the headlight already disassembled off the bike. We're working with an 03 Hayabusa. Okay. We're working with the Ccfl Halos from Fender Eliminator. And thanks, by the way, Oliver up there for giving me the account, man. I love y'all product. Okay. You're gonna need a heat gun. Now there's several different ways that you can do this as far as taking the headlight apart, okay? But we just don't happen to have a honey-baked oven, you know, sitting in the back where we can put the whole headlight inside of an oven. But you can put the whole headlight assembly inside of an oven. Best thing to do is go ahead and call Fender Eliminators to get some type of temperature regulation or settings that you might need. That way you don't melt it, you don't damage the headlight. But today we're going to use a Milwaukee heat gun. We got a couple of flat screwdrivers. We got a grip vice device up here that might give us some assistance as far as holding the heat gun in place. While the heat gun is being in place, I can use the screwdrivers and I can take the light apart. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing we want to do, you got to break this seal. Okay, that's the first thing that got to take place. The seal got to be broken. All right, so we're going to use the heat gun, and we're going to take the heat gun, and what we want to do is we want to warm up around the whole entire side, okay, the light. You want to just keep doing that continuously for a couple of minutes, all right? Because in order to get this open with a heat gun, I mean, it has to be equally heated up in order for you to start prying this apart, okay? So the first thing we want to do is we want to heat it up. It's always good to have a type of heat gun that got temperature control, that way you don't melt the product, no matter what you're dealing with. Now you can see how we're using the vice grip. I got the heat gun locked into the vice grip. That way it frees up both my hands. I can just hold the headlight and I can turn as I want and keep the rotation so the headlight stay evenly warm. Okay, then when I'm ready, I can stop at a particular point and start prying. Okay, then when you pry, you want to stop every so often and still turn the headlight. That way it's still staying warm, because once the area cool off, it's going to be even harder to pry. And then one of the things you want to make sure you don't do is end up prying so much you chew this all up to death. Okay, where cosmetically it doesn't look good anymore. Even though the chance is that once you put the headlight back on the bike, you don't even see all the trimmings and the edge anyway. All right. Now we got a breaking point. All right. Like I said, it's easy to have the vice grips holding the heat gun, because now I can put a screwdriver on one side. All right. And then I can pry on the other side. The warmer you have the light, the easier it's going to be. Once you got a crack break opening, all right, you want to still keep the heat on it evenly. A lot of times, I direct the heat in the inside, and you will see it pull right apart. Okay. But now we can see where we got some black electrical tape right here holding everything in place, while we put our little dab of super glue. Okay, just to hold everything in place. You see we got the top light right here. Okay, dab of glue right here, dab of glue right there. I got my heat gun on extremely low. Okay, blowing warm air, so it helps the adhesives dry a little bit quicker. All right, so that's the beauty of having your vice grip. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put some epoxy over top of the super glue to hold it. We're going to fish our wires. Okay, we're going to fish these wires through the hole that's on the back. Run those in the back. Then we can put the cover back on. You can see where we ran our wires through the back side of the hole. Everything looked nice and clean, nice and neat. All right. You see how we got the top halo set in place. Okay. Pretty nice and centered. Same as the bottom ring. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and test our lights to make sure that it works. Now our rule is first is to go ahead and put it on a bench first before you actually do any of this installation. Okay, get yourself a nice power supply. All right, go ahead and wire your halos up temporarily. Apply power to your transformers and make sure everything is working first. Because if you only order one set, you got all this stuff broken down and something don't work. Now you got the customer bike hemmed up. You got to wait 2 or 3 more days unless you next day air it. It's going to cost you more money, and you didn't waste a lot of time and money. Okay, so go ahead and put it on the bench first. So let's go ahead and put some power to these puppies. See how they look. All right. There we go. So all you do is you put pressure down on your light. As you're putting pressure down on it, you warm it up. You see it go right back in place. I even just heard one unlock in place. Okay. We just finished up our man Floyd's set of blue halos. As you can see, we got them on a nice switch right here by the throttle. Okay, so now as he's riding the bike, he can cut them on as he please with ease. All right. The circuit is protected with a fuse. Some of this stuff that y'all order online, okay, it might not come with a fuse protector. It may very well come with a fuse protector. All right, but if it don't, always put an inline fuse in there. Okay, that's the difference between doing it yourself and being a little bit experienced and knowing how to wire up your bike. All right, that way, you know, push come to shove, if somebody do make a mistake and one of your wires hit the ground or hit the body of the engine, it won't short out and cause a fire. You know, the fuse will blow. You might still get a little bit of smoke, but chances is you ain't got to worry about nothing other than a little bit of smoke. All right. Double bubbles, grips, frame sliders. Also, this is one of the hardest bikes to do frame sliders on. Okay. Now, if you take a look at this bike, okay, see how good the frame sliders look? That's how we cut all our frame sliders in. So don't try to do your own frame sliders. Bring them to me, raw gas. Okay. We out here in Wardorf, off Route 5, Leonardtown Road. We do all types of LEDs, strobes, double bubbles, grips. We put 7-inch monitors, rear view cameras on there. Or if you got some type of slick idea you think of and it hasn't been done, we the guys that make it happen. As long as it has to do with electronics, aftermarket accessories and all that. So other than that, I think that's a wrap. We looking good. Can't wait till it get nighttime so we can take this bike out here on the road. Other than that, keep it real, keep it raw gas.